Welcome to This Week in India's Science, a new weekly audio digest from Nature India. I'm your host, Shubhra Priyadarshini, Chief Editor of Nature India. Staying updated on the latest scientific developments can be difficult. This podcast brings you a concise overview of the most important science news from India, perfect for those who may not have the time to read all our stories or for listeners on the go. Before we dive into this week's highlights, let me just talk about some of Nature India's past podcast series. One of our notable recent series is BioLore, which presents lesser-known stories from the history of biological sciences in India. This richly researched audio retrospect draws on expert insights, science archives, oral histories, literature reviews, and field reportage. For instance, in one of our recent episodes, we explored how alien plant species are transforming India's landscape. Or in another, the journey of the zebrafish from India's rivers to becoming a pivotal model organism in biomedical research worldwide. We also had an episode on the rich culture, history, and controversies around basmati rice. Check that one out. The other series I also want to mention is the Our Mobile World series. It examines how mobile technology has transformed various facets of research and daily life, from biodiversity studies, agriculture, healthcare, e-waste management to bridging the digital divide in the global south. Now, one of my personal favorites is the series with a long name. It's called I Am a Scientist and This Is Where I Work. It is Nature India's effort to break stereotypes and showcase the diversity of scientific endeavors. We take listeners to unconventional workplaces, highlighting their unique research environments, from remote field stations to caves to bustling urban labs. This series is a glimpse into the daily lives of researchers pushing the boundaries of scientific knowledge. So, if you haven't already, check out all of these episodes at www.nature.com/natindia/podcasts. Now, let's move on to this week's most compelling science stories as reported in Nature India. Our first story is on a concerning health crisis. India's Guillain-Barré syndrome outbreak highlights water contamination risks. Lakshmi Ramakrishnan writes on a surge in Guillain-Barré syndrome cases across several Indian states, including Maharashtra and West Bengal, resulting in 23 fatalities and over 200 reported cases this year. Health experts are linking this outbreak to water contamination by Campylobacter jejuni, a bacterium known to trigger GBS. This situation underscores the urgent need for an integrated One Health approach to address public health challenges arising from environmental contamination. Despite its rich biodiversity and geological heritage, India lacks a dedicated National Natural History Museum. Devapriya Chattopadhyay discusses the absence of such an institution and its implications for conservation efforts in one of the world's biodiversity hotspots. She highlights that India's cultural and academic preference for white-collar professions, a bias that extends even to the sciences, contributes to this gap. The lack of a centralized repository for biological and fossil collections hampers research and public engagement with natural history, underscoring again the need for greater investment in preserving and promoting the country's natural heritage. A research highlight this week explores the birth of massive stars, 8 times heavier than the Sun, in hub filament systems found in interstellar molecular clouds. These dense and cold environments serve as the cradles for such stellar giants, providing insights into the complex processes of star formation. Next, we turn our attention to wildlife conservation efforts in Assam with a cute story: the launch of India's first elephant mobile clinic by a wildlife NGO. This will provide urgent medical care to distressed and captive elephants, addressing a critical need in wildlife healthcare and emphasizing the importance of conservation efforts for these majestic creatures. We examine a concerning discovery among bird populations. Biplab Das writes about a recent study which reveals that wild cormorants near Kolkata are carriers of antibiotic-resistant E. coli strains. These bacteria, resistant to multiple antibiotics, raise concerns about the potential spread of antimicrobial resistance from wildlife to humans, highlighting the need for comprehensive environmental surveillance. Kavita Singh and Renu Swarup shed light on the persistent underrepresentation of women in clinical trials, a practice that compromises the efficacy and safety of medical treatments for female patients. Historically, women have been treated as smaller men in medical research, leading to gaps in our understanding of gender specific responses to therapies. The commentary writers call for more inclusive research practices to ensure equitable healthcare outcomes. Researchers have developed a method to convert carbon nanoparticles found in vehicle exhaust soot into electrocatalysts for hydrogen fuel production. This process not only addresses the environmental challenge to soot emissions but also contributes to the generation of clean energy. By repurposing waste material from combustion engines, scientists are paving the way for more suitable and efficient hydrogen production technologies. We have a research highlight on this study. That wraps up this week in India's Science for end of March 2025. If you'd like to dive deeper into these stories, head to www.nature.com/natindia for full articles and expert insights. Don't forget to subscribe and tune in every week on your favorite podcast platforms for the latest in India's science. I am Shubhra Priyadarshini, and this is the Nature India podcast.